So hi and welcome back to Iris Thinks. In this episode I'm actually at an EV meetup in Sussex. This is Leanne, who's one of the co-admins, co-founder of the Sussex EV group with her husband Neil, and they've got an MG-ZS. So off the back of my previous video that you may have seen when I shot the MG-ZS at the motor show, they've actually got one, and in this episode we're going to find out how they're getting on with it, ask a few questions, because I've never driven one before, so this is first-hand information from an owner. So, hello Leanne,
Hi.
thank you for doing this. It's cool.
Thank you.
So, how long have you had your car?
So we picked this up around about the middle of October, and the first thing we did a few days later was take a weekend trip up to Yorkshire in it.
Oh, okay, so how many miles was that, and how did you get on?
So I think it works out about 230 miles up to Huddersfield from where we are. Got on really well actually. We have done trips up to Huddersfield in our old EV, and this one has a greater range. So yeah, that was a lot better. It was a lot better, a lot easier.
So your old EV was a Leaf. Was it the 24 or the 30?
It was the 24.
It was a 24. So how many times would you have to stop on that journey usually?
4.
4 times?
Yeah, so it was 4 20-minute charges.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So how many miles have you done on this car then in total?
Okay, so I understand it's about just under 4,000 miles.
Okay, so not a massive amount in the time you've had it, I suppose.
Not particularly, no, but we've done a couple of long trips in it. Most of the time it's used to commute my husband to and from work. So, but we've done a few trips to Yorkshire. We did a trip to Yorkshire, did a trip to Cornwall, and we've done a couple of trips down to Dorset where my parents live.
Okay, so how do you find the range then? Does it match it with the 163 WLTP range? Is that quite accurate?
I would say that probably is pretty accurate, certainly for the way we drive anyway.
Okay.
So for example, when we did go on our trip down to Cornwall, we made it 142 miles. This is the end of November, before we stopped and charged. And it seemed quite happy to do that, and that was sort of rainy, grotty weather as well. So we're hoping that, in the summer we might be able to see more than the 163 WLTP.
Yeah, sure, yeah, because temperature does play an issue. I know with my Leaf, like when I set off this morning to come down here, it was saying like 120. Usually it's 150, 160, so yeah, temperature does play a big issue. Do you have any issue with Rapidgate? I know with the Leaf, it's been widely publicised. Is there anything like that happens with the MG?
No, there doesn't seem to be any sort of problems with rapid charging at all on this car. I believe it does have the like a whole thermal management cooling system.
Yeah, it's liquid cooled. Yeah.
So it's liquid cooled. So we've not had any issues with that at all.
Have you had any other niggles or any other issues?
There've been a couple of niggles with charging at home, but I think, bearing in mind this is the first time this car's been out over here, we're obviously very early adopters of this vehicle. These are the things that MG are working on to sort of work out at the moment. We've had software update for charging at the moment, which we think might have not been applied correctly because we're still getting some of the old niggles that we had. But it doesn't prove a massive issue because we've got an OMI wall charger, and it's mostly just on the timed charging it's an issue. If we just want to plug in at home at any time, then it's not a problem, it will charge.
So has the car got timers and that's where the issue is?
It hasn't. We've had to actually get smart wall charger for timing, for charge timing, so it's all done through the charger.
Okay. What would be the best feature of the car? Say if you're comparing it against the Leaf, there's a new feature that you like that.
There's a couple of things I like about this. The power is great, but they've also got 3 levels of regen, which is really good. We run it mostly on level 3 most of the time, especially in town driving.
So you're rarely using your brakes then, I suppose?
Yeah, because it does almost come to a stop. I imagine it's not quite e-pedal, but very close to e-pedal.
Do you? Oh, you wouldn't have had e-pedal on your previous, would you? No. Okay, cool. One thing that I mentioned in my previous video when I was at the motor show was the charge flap on the front. Now, to me, it looks quite low down. Do you have any problems with that?
I don't personally,
like using it or anything?
but I'm a fairly active person, you know.
Okay.
I don't have issues bending down, for example, or crouching on, you know, sort of crouching. But, you know, if you're talking about maybe someone who's more elderly or someone who maybe has back issues, they may struggle with it. I mean, I'm 5'8", so I'm not a short woman, but obviously there are men much taller than me.
Like myself? Yeah.
Yes. And it can be fiddly because if you're looking down, the charge flap does kind of obscure the grommets on the inside.
That's what I thought when I was looking at it. You kind of, I think it would be better if it kind of moved to the side possibly, or moved down, and then you've got a unrestricted view. But
yeah, it'd be interesting to see if anyone actually fabricates a modification for something like that.
Yeah, it would. That's quite a good idea actually. Yeah, cool. And lastly, do you miss not having an app for the car? Did you use the app quite a lot with the Leaf, or?
I think initially we did use the app quite a lot, but then it became, in some respects, with the amount of information that were on the aftermarket apps you could get out there, the third-party apps, it got a bit obsessive, so we actually stopped using it so much.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing I will say is quite nice on the Leaf, which we still have as well, is the preheat function.
Yeah, the preheat,
especially this time of year. But in all honesty, the MG warms up so quickly, and the heated seats get very hot, so you can be warm rather quickly if you're feeling particularly cold.
Cool. And then would you recommend the car to anybody? Would you?
Absolutely.
Good purchase, good value for money?
Oh, very good value for money, I'd say. And so far, everyone I know that owns one, and I do know quite a few people that own them, are really happy with it. Yes, it has its niggles like any brand new car, but the best thing about the communities is being able to share those niggles, feed that information back to MG, and yeah, it's been really good. As I say, it's a very good value car.
Cool. So that's it. Just a quick one, just to get Leanne's point of view from being a owner driver of the car. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, all the usual stuff, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.
Thank you.